One way or another, going to Plumpton College was one of the greatest experiences of my entire life. However, I've been sorely disappointed by that particular college now since they've decided to say I can't come back to residences because I smoke a bit of cannabis on site. Nothing about the drug cannabis worsens my mental health. Quite the contrary, I use it as medication for my mental health. They don't seem to realize I think in their minds they've got like this equation: cannabis use equals poor mental health. Right. Well, that's true maybe on a level. That is perhaps true to some extent. However, it's akin to saying alcohol consumption equals poor mental health, which is also the truth. However, like you don't really understand what mental health conditions I've been going through. The the OCD and PTSD elements of my mental health complex, if you like, um, those have been acknowledged tacitly by mental health services in both your area and my area. However, I've not received an official diagnosis for those, and they're still operating under, I suspect, the erroneous assumption that I'm suffering from schizoaffective disorder or a psychotic illness. Now, I don't suffer from anything like that as such, and no offense to anyone who does, it's the I'm suffering from something exactly as serious as that, or something very serious, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. It can be a very serious mental health condition. It's certainly very debilitating. Um, However, schizoaffective disorder, this is like people who think that their hands are made of margarine and so on. That is a delusion. Your hands are made of butter or margarine or something, or that you're a lemon, or that you've been to space 5 times when you haven't. Do you know what I mean? It's those sorts of things that are clearly delusions. Those are things that are demonstrably false. That's what a delusion is. A delusion is that which is demonstrably false. You need to be able to demonstrate that it is false in order to categorize something as a delusion per se, right? And I've had to go over this ad nauseum with them many, 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 many times in my life. And you don't realize how much suffering you've caused just by endorsing their conclusions and not really sticking up for a student, not really sticking up for someone under your care, and not really demanding that actually, yeah, this person should get the proper treatment, and you should um, assess them for an autism spectrum disorder before you go about claiming that they're psychotic, or you should assess them for OCD before you claim they're psychotic, or you should assess them for PTSD before you claim they're psychotic. So you're operating really in an environment where you couldn't help but discriminate against somebody with a mental illness because the NHS have done such a piss poor job of actually diagnosing somebody, of actually eliminating all the possibilities, which they clearly haven't done. It doesn't exist in their records. They haven't undergone the test for PTSD, for Asperger's syndrome, for obsessive compulsive disorder, or they sort of put up a front of doing it with obsessive compulsive disorder for a little bit after they diagnosed me with schizoaffective disorder. But anyway, it's beside the point. The point really is like you tried to prevent me building a rocket on Plumpton College campus because you thought I might be a danger to myself or others. Do you know how deeply offensive that is to most people? Like to me in particular, because like I want to build rockets. You have a student on your campus who wants to build rockets, who wants to, yeah, get Plumpton totally down with sustainability, make Plumpton off grid, possibly even. Do everything that Plumpton possibly can to uh, make itself more sustainable and lessen its reliance on fossil fuels and things like this. yet you wouldn't go for it. You wouldn't see that as 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 you wouldn't see me as someone with potential for that sort of thing. And that sort of thing, that is our future. I'm sorry to say. We're going in no direction other than sustainability. We have one option, and that is building windmills and things. Well, wind turbines. Or hopefully windmills in the future, where people can live in them as well. And they can act as buildings also, but they've got a turbine on the top. And that we do use the methane from the manure, the dairy cows, and that we do burn that for heating gas, since it can power about 83 homes if we burn it for energy, or it can provide heating gas for the whole college. But you wouldn't, you pay tacit, you give tacit endorsement to these sorts of things, these sorts of projects, these sorts of ideals, but you don't go through with them. It's a tragedy. It really is, because you seem to be arms open waiting for this sort of thing to come along. Yeah, I wanted the rocket club on Plumpton. I was going to build something the size of an ICBM. I was going to build something that could get to space. Oh yeah, I can do that as well. I understand how rocket engines work. They're not all that complicated. That's the bitter truth of it. It's a Delaval nozzle, it's a square combustion chamber, like a cube of steel connected to a jet. Well, a cone, something like a coffee cup from Starbucks, a nozzle, an exhaust. That's a rocket engine. Combustion happens in the chamber, it's drafted out of the exhaust. Therefore, you create thrust. I love the parsimony with dairy farming. Or I love the connection there with dairy farming. I think it's a beautiful thing. But you took the piss with my mental health. You're doddering around in this alien, bizarre, Orwellian world. Where mentally ill people are out to get you all the time. And guess what? You've pissed one off. You pissed off a disabled person by discriminating against a disability. So now I am pissed off with you. When you get imagine being in my shoes. Do you know what being in my shoes entails? You've never really been there, have you? Most ordinary people haven't. I do understand that. However, the fury and invective that I want to throw at you, I want to call you gammon, I want to call you this, that, and the other, bigots, because that is certainly how it seems to me with what's been going on. You take the drums of hypochlorite off me, why? Because I'm going to build a model rocket. Or a real rocket. I'll go call the police then. Will they be all that interested? If they're what, a student of yours is building a rocket at Plumpton College? Isn't that the sort of person who is sort of supposed to be an asset to your organisation? Not someone who you treat with scorn and kind of dance around the mental health stuff. Shameful. It's terrible. It's because you missed an opportunity. You missed an opportunity. Well, sustainability and so on, you'll get there eventually. Everyone will have to. But, we could have Rocket Club on Plumpton College campus. What a shame it didn't happen. It's just a shame, that's all. It's just something amazing that could have happened at Plumpton. but now it's gonna have to happen somewhere else. It's unfortunate. It's just a shame for you people. Sorry about that. So